Hey guys, how you doing? Coach Mitch here. Let's get into the FBI Phase 2 interview. The FBI Phase 2 interview is a challenge if you're not preparing for it, if you don't know what you're walking into. I've been doing this for 7 years now. Right now, for February, I've got 6 people right now. For January, I've got 4 people already who are going through the process. So I've been doing this for 7 years. So you have to understand, people say, well, is the FBI interview like the CBP or BP or Secret Service? No, it isn't. The closest the FBI Phase 2 is, on some level, is kind of close to the super interview for the Secret Service. However, it goes deeper, it goes different, okay? So the FBI Phase 2 is what you would call a behavioral base. So it's going to be, tell me about a time when, what would you do if? So when they ask you those questions, when I'm asking you those questions, these are not some kind of arbitrary stories. I'm not looking for that. When you're in my coaching program, I'm asking you about your life. How can we apply your life situations into these questions I'm asking you, right? That's the first lesson we have. I'm asking 3 or 4 of these type questions to you that are specific. These questions bring out the reality of the situation regarding what you did. Now, I'm looking for in your answer, not the first time, first time I kind of put you on the spot, right? So it's not really fair. But we have you answer the question. Now, here's when the fun begins, okay? So then what I do, I have you, I send the questions to you via email, and you answer those questions. You have time now to answer the question, okay, as is. Then it goes back to me, and then I look at it. And then we start there, the build-up practice, right? We're building up because we have to put in words and verbiages and behaviors and answers that this panel wants to hear. A lot of my guys go into these heroic type answers. They don't want to hear about heroics, okay? They're not going to be impressed if you ran into a burning building and saved 10 people. Well, let's say, yeah, good job. But that's not what they're looking for in your answers in the FBI interview. They're looking for reality based on your life that's real, that really happened, right? But then we have to work on inserting or integrating judgment, decision making, emotional maturity, those kind of things into the answers. Now, this takes time. This takes a lot of my time because I really want you to produce good answers, okay? This is a challenge for both of us because what I do then, I then put in my verbiage into your answers. Then I send it back to you, right? You start committing that to memory, not all of it, like 80%. Then our second meeting, coaching session, then we ask you again. Now looking for delivery. I'm listening for judgment. I'm listening for emotional maturity. I'm listening for all sorts of things you guys see on my check sheet there, right? The third time we do it again. This time you're going to have 7 questions, and I want you to flow with confidence, right? And then I purposely ask 3 other questions that I didn't give to you at all. Because I want to see how you turn to it, how you can handle this, handle that, right? That's important. This is really what it's all about. So you have to understand that, yes, there are some similarities with the FBI and the Secret Service interviews. Secret Service super interview, not the uniform division. That's a whole different interview within itself, right? However, in the FBI Phase 2, we're looking for depth, right? We want you to answer the question. When I say we, the panel and myself, we want these questions to be answered with depth. There's no time for some shallow, well, I did this and that. No, you have to come off like you have an understanding of the material or the question they're asking you. That's why I keep telling people your degree is not going to help you. Because degrees are great. However, this is nothing that a degree can help you out with. This takes practice. This takes perfection. This takes a tenacity to the program that I give you. This is why. Since 2024 of August, I haven't had one failure for the FBI Phase 2 interview. I have the receipts. Been doing this a long time. So this is what I'm talking about. They're looking for problem-solving logic. How are you going from A to E? How'd you do that, right? Dun, 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 dun. And explain to them very comprehensively how you went from A to E and what makes sense. Another one too. Self-reflection. Is there self-reflection in your answers? You remember STAR? Don't use STAR in FBI except for the R, the result. Use the result, right? Self-reflection is the same thing as the result. What happened here? What did you learn? What did others learn? What was the lesson here that happened overall, right? Those are the things we go through in the FBI phase 2. It's beyond the shallowness. We have to get into this long form storytelling type behavior, right? And this is how the winners come out, because if you're competent, right, and you're confident in your answers, you have no problem sitting there in front of these guys for 4 or 5 minutes discussing an answer with them, because sometimes they're going to ask you and questions back at you regarding your story. Okay, so your story must be set. You must understand what you're talking about. You must know your story in and out. Not like a civilian, though. Like a federal person, like a paramilitary person, you must be able to get in there and say, okay, what decisions was I making? How do I mentor people? What was the result? Was I wrong? Did I take responsibility if I was wrong? Things like that. Last thing I want to tell you why they're different from the FBI phase 2 is not like the Secret Service super interview, because we're really looking for in the FBI interview is analytical depth. That's the deal. And it's an easy word to say, analytical depth, right? But to put it to practice, you will understand this in my coaching program, how this works. This is one of the key winners for us. When we get down to this analytical depth about your life, about your story, this is what captures the listening audience, the panel before you who are going to interview you. Are we going to impress them? Maybe not. But will they have respect for our story, understand we're using the key words that they want us to use because we're understanding what's going on in our life? Because we understand what happened, because we can easily narrate to them what's going on in a very clear, precise, and professional way. Yeah, that's what's going to win every time for you guys. If you're going to go from the FBI phase 2, I really want you to consider getting to my coaching program. I can show you how to do this to make sure you understand, because I don't want you to get in there and think it's going to be a civilian interview with civilian questions. You're not going to have that. Don't even think that. Don't think you're going to brag about your college or your GPA or where you're going to be in 5 years. They don't ask anything like that. It's good you have a degree. I have a degree. It's great. But a degree is not going to get you past the FBI phase 2. It's not going to help you at all. You have to be prepared. This is a different kind of battle. And I'm here to help you, okay? All right, you guys. You take care and have a good day. Coach Mitch here. Bye-bye.